resident of the Tenderloin and member of the Tenderloin CPD and a veteran. And I'm here to talk about veterans, in particular some problems I see in terms of homelessness. As you know, for veterans represent a pretty large part of the homeless, indigent homeless in this particular city. And part of the problems we've been looking at, I've worked with a variety of different groups in this area, and there is a real problem in terms of how veterans, particularly disabled veterans, of which we're seeing increasing numbers, as you've probably heard, of returning veterans themselves suffering from a variety of different issues, including mental health issues as well, and older veterans themselves that are suffering from a variety of different disabled issues, everything ranging from cancer to heart issues and ailments as well. Those are large numbers of people that are ending up on our streets and in our homeless environment. Our unfortunate system itself seems to bypass these particular individuals. If you look at our welfare systems, which focuses strictly on homelessness and the category of homelessness, and not necessarily on the disabled. The disabled, particularly veterans, find themselves in categories in which are falling through the loopholes in terms of people that are being affected, more directly affected in terms of it. The systems from the VA themselves are overwhelmed in terms of placing even temporary shelters for these particular individuals. And any long-term homeless continuum planning needs to deal a little bit more specifically with including this ever-growing problem, and particularly as I related to the disabled, which we're finding that are dying on our streets or dying in our general hospitals and dying in our medical centers. Communication needs to be increased in relationship to the programs that are being developed in the veterans' environments, along with the organizations such as Swords for Plowshares, of which we, as I do know, we do have a number of different contacts with, but no specific plan. So if you look at some of the outreaches, including the mayor's outreaches to homelessness, if you send a veteran through that who has disabled issues, you'll find them falling through those cracks, because unless they fall under that homeless category, they don't necessarily end up having the kinds of supportive services in which should be available to these people. So I would implore you to look more specifically at this issue and to work more closely with trying to find solutions. It is an ever-growing problem, and it's predicted to continue to increase. Thank you very much for your time.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Is there something in place right now where, I don't want to say tracking, but do you have an idea of when vets come back to San Francisco, or when they come back home, when they do start to slip between the cracks, and when they start finding themselves in a situation where they are homeless? Is there, I don't know, is there a way to keep an eye on them? I mean,
yes, there is. First of all, there is an ever-increasing evidences of information of returning veterans suffering from a variety of different problems, which are basically tracked through a number of our veterans groups, such as Swords for Plowshares, veterans organizations, and the VA themselves have programs in which are identifying returning veterans. The problem is not necessarily in finding out information. That information is available through those variety of different resources. The problem is in the services that are not available or limited in terms of availability, in terms of meeting the needs of these returning veterans. So yes, we have the information, we just don't have the tie-in between our agencies and our city agencies and our county services in terms of their relationships and tracking that information, identifying those problems. But the information is there. There are a variety of different temporary shelter housings, which are things that are being created by these various different organizations, which give them 3 to 6 months housing perspectives. Also, if you look at the shelters are also tracking veterans who are also increasingly ending up in these particular environments. So the information is there. We're just not tracking and acting on it in a productive manner.
And housing, are you also talking about mental health services in particular? In particular,
yes, very much so. Mental health services for returning vets is a particular issue, which also has to do with the issues of alcoholism and other drug-related, which are sometimes misdiagnosed as specifically drug-related and not necessarily mental health-related problems.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next.